Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Twilley. I'm the director of the Women's Business Center at Maryland Capital Enterprises. We are a nonprofit based in Salisbury, and we also have an office in Baltimore City. We serve the entire eastern shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. And we assist entrepreneurs that are getting started in business. We can either help them with the business plan, with their cash flow projections. We do business consulting, marketing consulting, training workshops such as this, and we also do small business loans. So if we can help you in any way, I'm going to put my information in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to me. Today we have Betsy Long, and she is going to tell you a little bit about herself and get started with the class. Thank you, Betsy.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, my name is Betsy Long. I am the owner of Be Long Socials. We are a social media management company. We are working mostly on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. We have some clients in Delaware. We're trying to branch out a little more there. We work mainly with small businesses, one-on-one, providing social media management for them. So doing anything as far as making content for them to completely running their social media platforms. We work basically with Facebook and Instagram. We also do a little TikTok and YouTube as well. I'm going to be doing a presentation today about Instagram marketing for your business. If you have experience with Instagram, I tried not to make it too monotonous if you kind of know the basics. But if you are like brand new getting started with Instagram and have some questions at the end about the very basic parts of Instagram, I'm happy to answer those questions as well. Since it looks like there's a smaller group, we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end. So make sure to either put it in the chat or write it down and we can chat at the end. I'm happy to be here, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Maybe. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be talking today about marketing on Instagram. I'm going to cover 4 subjects in regards to that. The first is just going to be why. Why should you use Instagram for your business, or why should you consider it? Getting started, the power of your name and bio, and then consistency and quality on Instagram, as well as some strategy basics to get you started coming up with a social media strategy for your business on Instagram. So go ahead and get started with why. Instagram and Facebook have been competing for years. Facebook was once the forefront of social media, really the only thing that we had, and slowly morphed into a marketing sort of platform. Instagram is slowly becoming a front runner on social media for people to share personal pictures and videos, but also for businesses. Especially for small businesses that have a story to tell. Instagram uses photos and graphics and short form video. Instagram is much more digestible to the average social media consumer. These days, we are consuming a lot of content. Facebook can get a little bit overwhelming. Facebook can be a little salesy and that sort of thing. So a lot of people are moving to Instagram because it is less intensive. It's quicker and it kind of gets more to the point. Most platforms do have stories, but Instagram really hones in on this part of a social media platform. If you're not familiar, stories are like the little circles that you see from people. They have them on Facebook, they have them on Instagram, they have them on TikTok. And it's like a quick 24-hour video or photo that goes up that you can kind of just click through at your convenience, as opposed to scrolling the feed. Stories are 24 hours, like I said. They have option for permanent placement as a highlight on your profile so that people can go back and refer to them, but they don't stay on your profile in plain sight for longer than 24 hours. These are perfect for repetitive posting of upcoming events. behind the scenes and organic content. I'll get a little bit more into that later. Instagram also pushes lifestyle content. So you're looking at organic photography, personalized graphics, and funny, also informative videos, which can be a great benefit in storytelling for your business or product. Clients and potential customers know they are part of a community on Instagram, not just a person or a number to you. Just another note on why Instagram can be beneficial. If you're already using Facebook, Instagram and Facebook are connected. So a lot of the things that you post on Instagram, you can automatically share to your Facebook. It takes a little bit of time off of having to post on both. If you're already using Facebook, again, Instagram is kind of a no-brainer. It's just an effortless addition to your marketing strategy. There are times when you would use one or the other. I don't want to get too much into that. It's a little complicated, but there is a good portion of your posting that you can go ahead and put on both. It's going to reach a different audience on each platform. So we'll move on to getting started, the power of a name and your bio. So on Facebook, you're typically just putting the name of your business out there. Instagram is a little bit different. You want to take a little extra time to create a username or handle, and then your biography, and then you can start putting yourself out there. What's in a name? So Instagram handles are always displayed as one word. You can't put a space in there, and there's no capitalization. That's important to keep in mind when you're deciding on the name. You don't want it to be something too long, something that's difficult to decipher. A lot of times if you have a longer business name, people can be like, what does that say? You know, the words are all jumbled together. That can be a disadvantage when people are looking for your page, seeking it out, or trying to recognize it as they're scrolling through Instagram. Try to keep the name similar to your business name or your other social media handles. For example, TikTok and Instagram are similarly displayed. So if you can get the same one, if they're both available to you, it's a good idea to use the same one. It's easier for people to remember or figure out. And you can also utilize an underscore or period if you want to kind of placehold for where there would be a space. And I have some examples there. If you kind of can't abbreviate your name, or there's nothing that kind of makes sense other than the full name of your business, you can use those strategies for spacing out your words. I actually do it on my business Instagram, where B_long_socials. Moving on to your biography, this is what's shown at the top of your Instagram profile. So people, when they search you, they're going directly to this part of your Instagram page. It's going to be the first thing they see. If someone gets on Instagram to look at your profile, but doesn't necessarily click follow at that moment, this is the only way you have a chance to make an impact on them, is their original search. They see it, they'll remember it. Basically, you want to show a brief and concise idea of what your business is with the limited space available. Some examples are a basic summary of what you do or offer, with additional sections to include your phone number, email, website, or business hours. This will vary based on what type of business you have as to what's important. If your hours are really important, stick them in there. If you can kind of give a basic idea of exactly what you do, stick that in there. I have some examples on the next, or I have an example on the next slide. So this is a snapshot of your business and what you want someone to take away when they see your profile for the first time. So I have some screenshots of the B_long socials Instagram. So you can see our username, you can add pronouns, you can add your name. Like if I wanted to put Betsy Long in the name section, I could do that. That way people are like, yep, this is the right one. I know I'm looking for Betsy. And then our bio is just a short explanation of what we do. I can also tell you how to make those cool fonts at the end if anyone wants to know that. Otherwise, it's just going to come out as plain type. And then you can also add external links. So this is where you're going to add your website. This is where you're going to add your email address. It gives you a specific spot to do that, your phone number. Because this bio is limited in characters, I think it's 140 characters. Don't quote me on that. You can only fit so much into the explanation. So don't waste any of that space with your phone number, email, or website. All of that is there for you. You can also add an external link to another social media profile. For example, on my personal Instagram page, I have an external link that has Belong Socials on there. I think you can add multiple actually. So yeah, so that's the basics of your bio. You can change this easily. So if you see it, if you do it and you're like, it doesn't look right, or you want to add something, or you update your hours, it's easy to go back in and edit that information. So just mess around with it, kind of see what looks best to you and go from there. Another part of getting started is just putting yourself out there. So if you're brand new to Instagram, if you're just setting up your page, you don't have a following, there's a couple things you can do to try to get your name out there. The first thing you want to do is go on, I kind of flip-flop these on the slide, but the first thing you want to go on and do is make your first post. When you finally start putting your Instagram page out there, you want people to come to it and see a post already. Like, you don't want them to just come to an empty profile. They'll be like, okay, what is this? You can't go wrong with a picture of your logo, photo of yourself or your business, kind of explaining what's going on. I opened this new business, or welcome to my Instagram page for my business, or a basic infographic like with your pricing or your hours or something like that. When people come to start following you, you want them to see something. That way they know what they're following, and they also have a post that they could reshare to other people and say, hey, follow this, follow my friend, follow my, business contact. This is a cool business. They can put that out there as well. So back up to the first bullet point here, you also want to go in and start following other accounts. Now, I say this lightly because if you aggressively follow people, Instagram's going to kind of flag you. They're going to say, okay, chill out. I think there's a limit to how many people you can follow a day. And also, you want to keep it relevant. So you don't just want to go in and follow a bunch of people. You kind of want to signal to Instagram what you're doing on the platform. So you want to follow clients, customers, similar businesses to yours. I would say competitors maybe, but even if you're following, like, say you're a hair studio, following a hair studio in another town, or looking and finding, like, searching up hair studios, seeing people that have a bunch of followers, following them, you can utilize that for market research, show support. Close and supportive friends and family that you have that will share your stuff, that will kind of ride for you on social media and put your stuff out there. And then any other community organizations you're involved in or that are in your local area, like chambers of commerce, Maryland Capital Enterprises. Make sure you're following those pertinent things so that you can share their stuff, and that also they see what you're posting and maybe they put it out there for you as well. A rule of thumb, and this is really hard when you're first getting started, but you can kind of look at this if you're a more established Instagram account, is that you want to be following 10% of the amount of people that are following you. Like I said, when you're first getting started, this can be hard because you're building that following. But once you get kind of established and you look back, you want to try to avoid following more people than are following you, if that makes sense. And you, again, want to keep it relevant. It's not a perfect equation, but it is kind of just a basic rule of thumb. Last thing is engaging, and we'll get into this a lot more. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So interacting with other accounts by liking and sharing their content, and just being present on Instagram will get you out there. Instagram loves interaction. They don't want you to just be posting something and then logging out. They want to know it's a real person. They want to know that you're contributing to the usage of their platform, and that it can all be done by interacting with other accounts. Okay, moving on to consistency and quality. We talk about this a lot in social media, but it's specifically important on Instagram. What really shines on Instagram, content that gets pushed out, is aesthetically pleasing, on trend, well thought out, and relatable. Putting that content out on a consistent and reliable basis will contribute to steady growth and a higher chance of translating followers into paying clients. You'll hear me mention stories a lot, but this is kind of where stories come into play. So if you have a lot of information that you're trying to get out, the best place to put it is on the stories. You should save your feed posts for your, you know, professional photography, if you have that, or really good photography that you've taken time to plan and take on your iPhone or whatever. Infographics that are clear and concise, and then of course your reels or videos that you've done. So we'll get a little into that some more. So everyone has a different schedule, and your clientele will support your content at different times and days, depending on what kind of business you are, and what sort of demographic that you're reaching for. It might take a while to figure out when your content is getting the most traction, but once you do, consistency is key. So a way you can find this out is looking at your insights. So Facebook and Instagram both give you insights. They can show you who's looking at your content, whether it's your followers or non-followers, when they're looking at it. And you can kind of take some time to do like a post early in the morning and see if people respond to that. Do another one in the middle of the day, try one at night on another, you know, night or weekend, and see kind of what kind of traction you get. And then once you figure out what kind of works for you, keep it consistent. Rule of thumb, we say an average of every 3 to 4 days for a feed post, and daily stories and sharing. This is not like end all be all. If you want to post more or less, that is fine. It's just important that you're showing up in the same time frame throughout your social media journey, so you are sticking with the schedule. Now, of course, things come up. Oh, I need to post that. It's something different, something special that's going on. Of course, post it. Like, don't get caught up in the consistency thing. Just make sure you're showing up on a regular basis and not just posting something and then posting something else another month later, or like every 2 months or something like that. That will kind of push you out of the Instagram platform. When you're finding your audience's active time frames, it's important to pay attention to when you get the most engagement on your post, and the analytics will also tell you which days of the week people are most active, so that can be really helpful. The bottom line is using a variety of different content. So your photography, your graphics, which are like your Canva or you know, graphics that you've made on other I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, other formats, and then your short form videos / reels. Posting them on a consistent timeline will bring you in front of followers and non-followers and help to promote your online presence. When we start to talk about quality, like I mentioned before, it's about aesthetics. So well done photography, simple and organized infographics, and short eye-catching videos. Those are your best bet for getting traction. Again, not everybody has access to professional photography. I wouldn't expect it, especially if you are spending time on social media, because it is free, not having to invest that extra thing. But if you are just using your own cell phone, be sure to clean your lens or camera. Having a stockpile of simple and general images for posting and creating is critical to starting your success on Instagram. So if you were to invest in that type of professional photography, I would say make it generalized. That way you can reuse those photos. So it's almost like having your own stock photos without having to look online and use other people's stock photos. Think of what kind of things represent your business and yourself, and have someone or yourself take photos and keep those in a folder or stockpiled, so that you're not scrambling to post something or schedule something to post on your Instagram. As far as graphics, I talked about Canva. If you're not familiar with Canva, it's awesome. They have free and paid options, so you can work with Canva. It gives you templates, it gives you different graphics you can use, it gives you ideas, and you can kind of switch those up to make them your own, which I do encourage you to do. You can use the ones that they've already made, but I do encourage you to go in and make it your own for your business and brand. They can help you present organized and clear infographics for promotion of your events, services, or just shareable content. So Instagram is big on the shareable content. I suggest putting out posts that are related to your business, but also relatable to the average person or your average client that they might want to share into their stories. It's a good way to get your content in the eyes of non-followers. So that's like when you see an example of that is like when you see a random business make a really pretty graphic with like an inspirational quote or a funny anecdote or something that people would want to share. It might not be like a direct sale tactic, but it does get you in front of other people. Reels, they can be terrifying and tricky. But my recommendation, if you're not sure about Reels, is just to spend a little time scrolling through other Reels. You can stay up to date with what's trending. You can go to your Explore page, which is basically the search page. It'll show you if you're following those relevant accounts and looking at content on Instagram that's similar to what you want to portray, that Explore page will show you trends, trending audios, ideas. Again, professional video is great, but cell phone videos work just as well, and are also more relatable because you're going to be filming these things kind of in the moment sometimes. Like just do what you can. If you have a tripod, that's helpful. And then clean your lens. We're big on cleaning the lens over here. We've learned that the hard way. Strategy basics. So this is kind of going to give you some guidance on how to get started in promoting that consistent exposure on Instagram. And this is just a couple of easy to do things that you can add into your social media strategy. You're going to start by finding something that best suits your time constraints and schedule, promotes consistency, and is achievable for you. It's just like anything else, a goal that you have. If it's not achievable, if you're reaching too high, you're gonna eventually burn out or fail and then have to start all over. So start down low, like, okay, I'm gonna post once a week or once a month or whatever. And build from there. That way you're not getting frustrated and you can kind of build that consistency over time. Planning out your content helps reduce your stress and institute consistency. Schedule, we do about a week in advance. Some people can do a month. It really depends on your business. If you have things happening in the moment, if you have things happening organically, you might have to cut it back to once a week, sitting down saying, okay, every Sunday or every Monday, I'm going to give myself an hour to figure out what I'm going to be posting this week. Is usually a good kind of way to do that. Creating your content ahead of time and scheduling your posts within Instagram can be just as helpful as creating a weekly or monthly plan. There are tools to do that on Instagram. When planning and creating your content, don't forget to include time for engagement in your social media schedule. I say 15 minutes a day is the minimum. I set an alarm because if I start to do it, I'll find myself like an hour later, like, oh crap, like I was supposed to be doing other things. So a little bit goes a long way. Set that timer for 15 minutes, go on there, start to scroll. I'll talk a little bit more about what exactly you should be doing in that time in a moment. So a calendar, basic calendar, electronic, handwritten, or we like both. Sometimes handwritten can help you get the ideas out and then translate it to an electronic so that you have it in a handheld device. It allows you to see what's coming up in the world and more specifically in your business. If you look at a month at a time, you're seeing holidays, you're seeing different things that are going on within your business. You can kind of say, okay, well, this is happening in 2 weeks. We should be posting about it now consistently up through that 2 weeks, maybe a little more hot and heavy as the event gets closer. And it kind of helps you view your strategy in a more whole way rather than taking it day by day. Scheduling tools allow you to create a post in your free time or your dedicated marketing time, but post in a more optimal schedule for your audience. So if you're seeing that people are looking at your post at 5:30 on Tuesdays, but 5:30 on Tuesday is like the busiest time of your week, you can schedule that post in advance. The only drawbacks that I see to scheduling posts, which are not really that big of a deal, if it works better for you to get the post out, get the post out. You can't on Instagram have that go on Facebook too when you're scheduling it. So you'd have to schedule separately on both. If that's worth the time to you, you're going to either be doing it then or later. So that's just a potential drawback. And also not being able to conveniently engage after posting. So I'm going to talk about it in a second, but I do recommend engagement time before and after posting to help push your content out. It's not a deal breaker, but the scheduling the post does take away from that. So again, engagement, I said no less than 15 minutes a day. A couple of specific things you can do: start by replying to any comments that have been made on your posts, sharing any stories you've been tagged in. So on Instagram, if somebody tags you in their story, like, oh, I went and had lunch at such and such place, or oh, I went and did this, workshop with Belong Socials, I could go back in and share that. And answering any direct messages that you may have gotten. Take some time to scroll your feed, visit your explore page, and tap through other people's stories. Again, this is a little bit engagement, a little bit market research. Make sure you're liking posts and leaving comments on relevant posts when you can. Engagement not only signals to Instagram that you're a real active user, but it's an opportunity to do market research on competitors, find new trends, and see what's successful for other people. If you have the time to do it, looking into what types of posts are resounding for other businesses that are similar to yours can be really helpful. Again, not stealing, but just looking into what might be successful for them and trying to translate that into your own branding. Just a final note I have on stories, and I seem a little obsessed with stories after going through this presentation, but just humor me. Your Instagram stories are the one place where posting daily is okay. I would say approximately 1 to 3 stories a day is recommended. If you want to do more, do more. Content in your stories doesn't need to be complex and can even be repeated every few days or weeks as needed. So some examples are your business hours, daily or weekly specials, your upcoming events, stuff that might get lost in the regular feed, or if you're posting too much in the regular feed, people will start ignoring or scrolling past. You can put that in your stories. Sometimes it takes people a couple of views to remember something or have it stick in their head, so stories can be great for that. They should be a mix of original content as well as resharing posts that are relevant to your business, promoting your friends or colleagues, partnering sisters, or companion businesses, and stories others have tagged you in. And something that I didn't put in here, but I also recommend, is when you make a post on your feed, immediately go and share that post on your story as well. That can lead people to your post. If they're not seeing it organically in their feed, they might see it when clicking through your stories. I recommend that for every single post that you do. Instagram has a lot of features in the stories which make it easy to be creative. You have external link stickers, you can add GIFs, you can add your location, you can do interactive questions and polls. Those are great if you have the time to answer them, but the polls are cool too. Like if you, we recently did it, we have new merchandise and we wanted to get opinions on it. So we did a poll, we got some feedback. Can also let you know who's seeing your stuff. Taking the time to explore your options is worth it. Stories are becoming just as utilized by viewers as the main feed, and a well-crafted story is a continuation of your brand and the quality you share with your followers. So let's see. I believe that is it for my portion of presenting. I'm happy to answer any questions. I have my information up here for you if you want to screenshot it. Find us on social media, obviously Instagram, and then we do Facebook, and we tinker in TikTok because TikTok is overwhelming. Maybe one day I'll be able to give a presentation on that too. I know Lisa has some stuff coming up with Maryland Capital Enterprises as well, so I'm gonna unshare my screen and then answer any questions you guys have.
So I have a couple questions.
Sure.
So you mentioned in the beginning of the presentation that sometimes it's better to use Facebook or Instagram, one or the other,
Yes.
but that's a lot to go into.
Yes.
Is there like a brief summary that you can give to like what is best to go on Instagram and when is best to go on Facebook?
Yes. So anything that's straight marketing, like promotional flyers, making of events and things like that, I usually stick to Facebook. You want to kind of put it out there on both, but as far as your straight marketing, promotions and things like that that are more technically marketing, I would stick to Facebook. Instagram favors more authentic content and lifestyle type content. So your behind the scenes and stuff, I recommend Instagram. Your staff highlights or things like that, like people's stories, the storytelling, Instagram really embraces that. Again, you can put that stuff on Facebook as well, but it's not as well received. So Instagram is the behind the scenes, the personalized stories more so than
Yeah.
the straight up marketing. Again, there's a place for it on both, but as far as what each platform prefers, in my opinion, that would be it.
Okay. Thank you so
Does that
much.
make sense? So,
Yes, that totally makes sense. I completely get that. So
cool. Oh, I see Melanie in the chat reshare the tip about going into your story after a post. Yes. So when you make a post on your Instagram feed, you can go back to that post and there's like a little paper airplane where you would share it. So you can share that post to other people, but my recommendation is to go and share that post to your story. So there's a little thing that'll say add to story, and then you can add that to your story. I do it almost immediately. You can do it a little bit later too if you have the time, or you forget. It's not a big deal if you go back in and do it later. That's simply for your Instagram consumers who are going in and skipping the feed and going straight to stories. So sometimes people will open their Instagram app and go straight to the stories at the top of the screen and start clicking through. If they're clicking through and they see, oh, here's a post, there's even like a little sticker you can put on there that says new post, and that will guide them to that post to go look at that post that you put on your feed. It's just an extra way to get that post in front of people. You're welcome.
and then I have one more question.
Yep.
You also mentioned briefly about the cool fonts that you can get like in your bio. Can you explain like how to get those?
Yes, so it's called, let me double check that I'm saying this right. IG Fonts. IG Fonts. If you type it into like a search bar, it'll come up IG Fonts Generator, igfonts.io. Let me type that into the chat. igfonts.io. And basically what you do is there's a little bit of a learning curve with it because you have to type in everything you want to type first. So you type in what you want to type, and then it'll let you scroll down a bunch of different fonts, like what it looks like in different fonts. And then you just copy and paste that. So you find the font that you like. Let me try to pull it up here. Okay, so I don't know if you can probably can't see it on my phone. No, because I'm blurred. So at the top it says add text here, then scroll down. You would just type in like whatever, your name or whatever, and then you can scroll down. There's a button. You can see what it looks like in a bunch of different fonts, and then you're just copying that and paste it into your bio.
Okay,
So
that's super easy. So
yeah, it's an extra step when it comes to that. And if you mess up, you have to go back and do it again. But it's all, I mean, that bio is going to stick there for a while. So it's worth it to make it kind of stand out, in my opinion.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else?
Any more questions? You can just unmute yourself if you want to. Okay. Well, I have a couple more classes coming up. Tomorrow night we have, it's called Shore and, I can't even say it, Shore and Soar competition. And that is a it's classes that you can take to qualify for a grant that can help you with your business. The top amount you can get is like $9,000. But tomorrow is like an open house at the Community Foundation. It's from 6 to 8. It's for for-profit businesses. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can just show up. You don't even have to register, and learn more about it there. And then on May 19th, we have a small business funding webinar. We're hosting that with the Baltimore County Public Library, and that's an evening class. I believe it's 6 to 7. No, 6:30 to 7:30, sorry. And then also on May 28th, business plan and cash flow projections. And that is another evening class from 6 to 7. So we have a couple evening ones. We try to rotate them because some people can't do the day. They can only do evening. And then we put a bunch of classes on for June. I don't have those printed out, but you can look right on our website at marylandcapital.org and just go under education. And there's a bunch of June classes coming up as well.
Awesome. I put my email in the chat also. If you guys think of any other questions, I believe that is this going to get reshared on YouTube, Lisa?
Yes, it'll be on our YouTube channel under Maryland Capital Enterprises.
Yeah.
You can go right there and look at the class again if there's something you want to listen to again or didn't, sometimes I got to hear it twice.
Yeah,
Be
go back.
old.
Yep, and then just shoot me. I'm happy to help, so just shoot me an email with any other questions.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Betsy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Betsy. Great webinar.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thank you all for being here.
Okay, guys, well, you have a good day.
Bye.